Do you ever look at yourself and think, this cannot be who I'm meant to be? And not in a dramatic way, but more in a way that's kind of like a feeling where you think you've outgrown the person that you currently are, and you're just not sure what to do with it or where to go. I think the hardest part of changing your life isn't really the habits, although that is quite difficult. It's letting go of the person that you were and how you used to function. So the person that used to people please or avoid conflict or keep their opinions to themselves, it's very hard to change those habits because they feel familiar. Not because they're good for us or that we enjoy them, but more so that we're so used to them and familiar is safe. So in a way, when you start doing things that feel unsafe, it can be very difficult and feel very unnatural. And you start to question, I find at least, is this the right thing that I should be doing? Am I overthinking it? Should I just go back to how I was before? And that transition can feel very difficult to push through. And that's the point. I think sometimes habits that we have or traits or ways that we have been can still be hurting us, but we still choose to do them. So people pleasing caused me a lot of damage. Not doing things I actually wanted to please parents or the status quo of getting a job and buying a house, I did those things and they hurt me because they weren't what I wanted to do. Avoiding my creative interest to pursue corporate success, I did those things as well and didn't necessarily make me any happier, but it was hurting me, but I kept doing it because it was familiar and felt like the right thing to do because everybody else was doing it. And that's what I mean by things that we do can feel familiar but still hurt us, and we still engage in that cycle. But at some point, I think you have to realize, and I have, that you're allowed to outgrow your old self. You're allowed to let go of standards and expectations put on you by family, friends, or society. You're allowed to decide that you no longer want to conform to the boundaries you set yourself before, and actually just say that I don't want to do those things anymore. I don't want to be that person. That isn't who I am. And there isn't any reason that you should feel guilty about that. I think it's actually a good thing to be evolving and reconnecting with yourself and figuring out what actually is important to you and saying, actually, this doesn't serve me anymore. I'm letting it go. It's the same way you'd walk away from a bad relationship or something that wasn't serving you. Deleting your old identity or changing your old identity isn't losing yourself. It's coming back home to your actual self and reconnecting with who you actually are, recentering and then readjusting and then going back into the world again. So what does it mean to delete your old self? What does it mean to change who you are? And I think I've seen a lot of YouTube videos on this. I've seen people use this phrase in TikToks and Instagrams and Reels. Sorry, I sound like a granddad. I've seen people use these phrases on Instagram and TikTok in Reels, right? And I think there are a few things that you can do to try and let go of your old self, and I'll run through them now quite briefly. I think the first one is stop reacting the same way. Changing your patterns and your natural inclination or gut instinct to something, it can be very hard. So I'm someone that often, if someone does something that I don't understand, I always think it's about me. Like, what did I do wrong, or why would they not want to do this for me, or maybe I said this, and I'm over analytical, and I always get in my head and think, okay, I react and think, okay, I've got to change this, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Or if someone maybe annoys me, my instinct is always to withdraw. So again, those patterns are things that I've learned and have modeled on myself for years, and it's going to be very hard to suddenly change that overnight. But changing the way I go to react and catching myself and saying, okay, wait, don't do what you normally do. Leave some space and actually think about it first and think about how you could best respond in the situation, I think is one of the most important things. Is because it's just changing the way your mind naturally is inclined to be in your natural patterns. And if you can change that over time, then you can start thinking and acting differently as well. The next one is stop entertaining people that drain you. I think I know. It's very easy to keep people around you that are familiar and fun and that you've been friends with for a long time. But sometimes we know that those people are actually more of a drain than an add. And when you spend time with them, you feel, I don't know, bad about yourself or worse than you did before you saw them. We feel like you're in competition with them and they're always trying to one-up you. And maybe they're just not entertaining to be around anymore. Or maybe they haven't evolved in the same way you have and they're still interested in things that are no longer interesting to you. So I don't know, maybe they're going out all the time, or they're obsessed with drinking, or they're obsessed with dating men or women, and you're trying to focus on another chapter of your life that's more about yourself and chasing your goals and establishing yourself. And it's fine to just say that actually when I'm with you, I feel a bit drained because I'm having to pretend to be someone I no longer am so we can engage in a way that feels fulfilling for you, but it's not fulfilling for me. And there's nothing wrong with just saying, actually, you know what, I don't want to spend time with this person because it isn't lifting me up, it's draining me. And it's simple as that. I'm not going to say much else because that should make sense to you. And I think the third one for me is creating distance from things that remind you or make you behave as the person you're trying to change from or no longer be. So if you have bad habits, trying as much as you can to stop yourself from re-engaging with those bad habits. So for me, it's like Deliveroo. I just don't go on the apps anymore. I don't think about getting takeaway as much as I used to, because I just was wasting money. Like, I was unnecessarily wasting money when I had food in the house and I was lazy and feeling sad and I just didn't want to cook, so I just get Deliveroo, and it was easy. And then it's like 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and then I was like, wait, like, I'm someone that loves to cook and I've always loved cooking. Why am I suddenly not doing that? Because I'm just in a pattern of not doing it. So that's one thing I think is an example. If you're someone that always chooses the easy way out, then maybe getting someone that can hold you accountable. So again, for me, going to the gym, I just started posting that I was going every day on my stories, so that people then, I feel accountable to post. So if I don't go, I feel bad. And also, I kind of gamified it into making myself think, if I get to go, I get to take a picture and tell myself I've done it and add it to my album of the days I put into going. And I've not been perfect. There's days I've not gone because obviously I'm a human and I need rest. So some days my body was just aching and I couldn't really go. I was too tired and I had a long day with work and I got back super late. And so those days, obviously, I didn't go, and that's fine. But I tried to go every day as a default, unless there's a reason that I actually can't or shouldn't go, for example, injury. And I think those small things that you can do to try and make sure that you distance yourself from things that make you fall into old traps that you're trying to avoid are very simple things that you can do to kind of make yourself, again, not choose the easy way out, reestablish new habits, and become someone that chooses to say yes to the things that maybe you normally say no to more often than not. And look, I'm not some enlightened guru that suddenly has everything in place. I'm still working through it day by day and choosing to show up and do this and go to the gym and cook healthier food and try and intermittent fast and try and read and actually be accountable to the things I say I'm going to do and be consistent. And it's not easy, but these are the things that I've done to feel different, and I do feel like I can see a change in the way that I'm operating, and I'm choosing more often than not to do the things I said I want to do. And I'm actually being consistent and being accountable. And I haven't had consistency for this long, and I haven't had progression in this way, and I haven't had as much self-belief in myself that I'm going to keep doing it, nor have I had the ability to hold myself accountable. When I said I was going to do something and didn't do it, I would then just be like, that's it. Whereas now, if I don't go to the gym in the morning, I'll go in the evening or I'll go at lunch, and I actually do that. And whilst it's difficult, I'm like, oh, I wish I could just sit down and watch TV or just take a break. I say to myself, you made a promise to yourself that you're going to do this, and how long are you going to keep moaning that nothing's changing for you when you don't do the work? So it feels good to see myself committing to things, doing the things I commit to, and actually seeing progress because I've committed, and seeing myself think differently, in that there's not an option to stop. I'm going to keep going until I succeed in these things, or at least until it becomes a habit for me in a way, and that feels easier. And so I want to share that it does get better. The first month was really hard, the second month was better, this third month feels a lot easier, and kind of my life has shifted where my priorities more so, what time will I go to the gym, what time am I going to go to bed, have I made my food, have I done meal prep, what am I going to eat? Okay, I know I don't eat this kind of food anymore, and if I do, it's a cheat meal or a cheat day, and I'm trying to, it becomes more habitual, and I've kind of built the habit into the way I'm functioning. So I hope in a year's time I'm sat here saying I'm still doing that, and then I'll see the fruits of my labor and the rewards and benefits from having been consistent for a year. But I have to stay consistent for a year to see the results for a year, is what I've realized. So you don't transform overnight, you just stop being the person that you hate, one small decision at a time, and you don't delete your old self dramatically, you do so gently, and you slowly watch yourself transform into someone that you're proud of and that you love. And it is really a daily journey of making those small choices, choosing yourself, choosing to show up, choosing to believe in yourself, and making yourself proud, that gets you to a place where you start feeling like, okay, I feel like I'm bettering myself and being different to how I was before. So keep up. Today's another day to say yes and make the right choices, and I'll see you tomorrow when you'll make the right choice again, hopefully, and I hope I will as well. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, and if you want to comment about how you felt about it, and if you relate, and also if you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.